Is becoming a loan officer a good career? So we've previously created a video for you explaining what a loan officer is and what they do on a daily and weekly basis. But I know that there's still many other questions, and I'm sure that you have just running through your mind if you're considering a career change. And some of those questions that I hear people ask is, how do loan officers get paid? How much do they get paid and by who? What if I don't have any experience or you don't have a degree from a college? Can you work from home? Where do they work from? So I'm Megan Marsh. I'm a loan officer. I'm the owner of a mortgage brokerage called Keystone Alliance Mortgage. And in this video, I'm going to continue to answer all of these questions about a career as a loan officer. So surprisingly, a career as a loan officer is one that very few people understand and know anything about. So by the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through the career path opportunities, but first I want to dig into some of those questions. Let's talk about what a loan officer is, because there's a lot of different names. There's loan officer, mortgage loan originator, mortgage broker, mortgage banker. It's all one in the same, just the name depends on where you decide to work and what you prefer your title to be. There is some confusion or curiosity about the differences between, I've seen what is a loan officer versus what's a loan processor, or a loan officer versus a mortgage broker or underwriter, or even I've seen questions on what's the difference between becoming a loan officer or a real estate agent. So we decided we're going to create a whole other video comparing these different professions that are all involved in helping home buyers, but their job roles, pay, and daily responsibilities are a little bit different. So let's start with, where do loan officers work? Loan officers can work pretty much from anywhere. They can work from home, they can work in an office, they can work in a co-work space, they can even work within a real estate office or another different type of business's office. It really depends on the preference of that loan officer and where they decide to go work. My career started and I worked in an office with other loan officers because I needed to learn from them. There are some days I work from home, and there's some loan officers I know that work from their home office every single day. It just depends on the type of business that you're building and how you create your schedule. Now let's dig into the education requirements for becoming a loan officer. There's actually no college degree that's required, and there's no experience required either. Although if you don't have any, it might impact the role that you take and the job that you decide to take first when starting. So I see people ask, is there a mortgage broker school or loan officer school, training, test prep, all these types of things. And becoming a loan officer, or like me, a mortgage broker, it really depends on the state that you're in and where you decide to go work as a loan officer. So although that there's no degree that's required, some degrees do help. Like my degree was in accounting when I got into becoming a loan officer, and all you need to do is take the licensing that the state and the place that you work at requires. There is a national licensing test that we will dig into a little bit later. Let's talk about how loan officers get paid, because that is one of the biggest questions. So loan officers are W-2 employees, but most loan officers almost always get paid commission as part of their income. And how much of their income is commission really depends on where you work and what you negotiate. So I looked up, just to get an idea, how much do loan officers make? And when I looked it up, the median in 2019 was $63,000, with the top 25% of loan officers making $93,000. So I will share a personal experience that I was able to make within the first few years I became a loan officer. And I left a job as an accountant, making a salary with a little bit of bonus right in the $40,000 to $50,000 range. And I became a loan officer, and within 3 years I was able to make 6 figures as a loan officer, which is really exciting when you're in your late 20s. And as a side note, the first company I worked at did not have the highest pay rate. I didn't get any leads, and I had to go out and get all of my business myself. So for any of you considering this career, I think the most important piece that will determine how much you make is not in how high your commission rates are, but rather what sales training you'll be getting. Is there a mentor? Are there company leads available? How well does the company market? Because all companies are different. And really, a lot of the jobs, you can find ones that are salary based with some commissions, but a lot of loan officer roles are fully commission based, which means there is no minimum, but there also is no ceiling or cap on how much you can make if you are a hustler and you work hard and you enjoy what you're doing. So who pays the loan officer? Really, it's the company that they work for, but the root of it is that the client pays the loan officer by choosing them to use that loan officer when they're buying a home. And loan officers are paid after a loan closes. And how we're paid is through something called basis points. And the easiest way to see or understand is by us just walking through a commission example on a $100,000 loan. So if a loan officer is 100% commission based, they would get paid somewhere between 75 basis points and 100 basis points. I would say that's normal. 75 basis points on a $100,000 loan is $750. 100 basis points on a $100,000 loan is $1,000. And so if as a loan officer you get a salary, you wouldn't get as much basis points that I just went through. Maybe you'd get 10 to 25 basis points. So 25 would be $250. But do the math in your head. Okay, if let's say the average loan officer is closing 3 loans for $100,000 and they're getting paid 100 basis points, that means they make $3,000. So the loan amounts you close and your basis points are going to depend on where you work, where you're located, because it's going to depend on the average home sale price in your area. But it is a very rewarding career and it does pay very well. So is a loan officer a good career? I personally think that it is an incredible career path because you control your own destiny, you have no ceiling on your income, and you get paid for how hard you work. Is it hard? I think anything new is hard, but really it depends on your strengths and your personality. So if you're a good relationship builder and a good communicator, then you can be very successful at being a loan officer. Everyone thinks that it's all about numbers, but it really isn't about complex numbers. It's more about problem solving. And the job can be stressful at times, but so are many other jobs. Every type of thing that you look into has the parts that make it stressful and difficult. And there are not many jobs and careers out there that pay the way that a loan officer job has the opportunity to get paid right from the start and without a degree. So let's go into then, maybe you're sold now. So let's talk about the education requirements. So what you need to do is you need to take these 20 hours of education. It's national education. And then what that does is it gives you the information to pass what's called the NMLS test, which is the National Mortgage Licensing Test. And the company that you're joining should have a detailed onboarding and training process that could help you through that process, or you can do it on your own, which would be one of my best pieces of advice. So a loan officer career path will decide on where you decide to work. Let's talk about the career path part now. So what does a career path look like if you become a loan officer? So that's really going to depend on where you decide to start the career that you're working at. So if you decide to work at a bank, for example, there are a lot of times branch managers or assistant branch managers will do mortgages. So you could work your way up from assistant to a branch manager and then to higher levels. But if you want to be home, then working at a bank that's in your local town might not be the best place for you. So then let's think about another place that a loan officer works would be what's called a retail bank, which means it's a big bank and all they do is mortgages. And one of the best ways is to think of like Rocket Mortgage, right? I know someone who got licensed as a loan officer and they just work out of their house. And then you have in that retail lender model, there are sales managers who manage other loan officers all the way up to different executives in the company. There's regional managers. And then the other career path, which is the one that I took, which is working at a local brokerage. So Keystone Alliance Mortgage is a brokerage. We've got about between 25 and 30 employees. The first brokerage I worked at had about 10 to 12 employees. And brokers grow based on the brokerage itself and what the owner of that company wants to do and how they want to grow. So these are all good questions to ask when you're deciding where you want to go and who you want to work for. Now, what I did was I decided I wanted to open my own brokerage and have complete control of all the commission checks and what it got spent on. And I made that decision because I could get the entire commission checks, I could hire who I wanted and needed, I could help more people. And if you know you want to open a brokerage, my business partner and I created the Mortgage Broker Fast Track. It's an online accelerator that helps loan officers open and launch their own mortgage brokerage in 90 days. It's going to teach you how to effortlessly launch, grow, and scale a mortgage company from a proven step-by-step formula with the best instructors in the industry. So if you'd like to learn more, you can also check out, we have a confidential webinar that shows you the behind the scenes details on how to get started. You can click the link below in the description and sign up for the next webinar. Just so you know, it's 100% free and no payments required. The course and the program follows a timeline and a roadmap where you will watch lessons, download resources that we've made, and use them to create your own model and brokerage. We'll be there to guide you, answer questions, and point you in the right direction. We hope this video gave you the insight that you're looking for and that you will join us for more information on the webinar. And if you know someone who could benefit from this information, please share this video with them. Hit the subscribe and the bell to get further notifications. Otherwise, you can continue to check out all the business building tips and guides on our other channel, The Collab. And make sure that you check out our podcast, The Collab, because there we share stories of other business owners who started businesses, and they give you even more information and resources to succeed.